Hey guys, it's Allie and I'm going to show you what's been going on in our garden. So let's go check it out and welcome to our crazy. So from the beginning, I knew I wanted to start a garden. I mean, we have all this acreage, so why not, right? We first last year started with a tiny garden on the other side of our cleared property, and this year we decided to step it up a notch. So we came over here and cleared out a fairly big space to start out. We built several of these boxes just using some cedar fence panels. And then I kind of just took it from there. One of the first things I built before we could start planting was this trellis that I one day hope to have some plants to start growing up over it. From there, using what we can find, when we had our concrete pad laid, they had some of these extra mesh that suspends into the concrete left over, and they left it here. When I saw it, I instantly knew that I wanted to do one of those archways for my plants to grow over that I've seen all over the internet, Instagram, Pinterest. Usually cow panels are used, but since we had this laying around, I grabbed an angle grinder, cut it down to the size I needed, and bought some of these T-posts from Lowe's and made my dream archway come true. Of course, had to add some little fairy lights and all, but right now we have some loofah starting to grow over it, and hopefully soon the mini pumpkins will start taking off and I will have my vision come to fruition. We used more of the mesh to make some more trellises for cucumbers and green beans. These were just pieces of wood that were cut down from something Ryan and Pawpaw were using to build the house. So I grabbed some scraps and just attached the mesh to that. Some more scraps were found, cut down to size, and used to make some of my tomato string trellises. We have a small one over here. Most of the stakes and things like that have just been either sourced from the property or scrap wood used from the house. Gardening can be pretty expensive if you buy everything new, but if you use what you have on hand, it might not be the prettiest, most Pinterest worthy ever, but it works and the plants don't know any different. We can walk around. I'll show you all the different things that we're growing or trying to grow this year. Like I said, over here we have green beans. What's on the other side of the green beans are our potato plants. I did not have a lot of success growing potatoes last year. On above surface it looks great, but because potatoes are part of the nightshade family, these do nothing for us. We can't eat the greens, but hopefully when the greens start to die back, turn yellow and fall over, hopefully there will be some tuber potatoes underneath, but until then I don't know. We have cucumbers over here. We have the tiny cucumbers that have really started to take off. They're an earlier variety, and then we have the slicing cucumbers that are starting to pop up. We have bell peppers and radishes and okra in this bed as well, and those are all starting to produce. I actually harvested my first radish yesterday, so I was really excited about that. Over here we have our squash bed with zucchini and yellow squash and possibly some eggplant, but those have been slow to start. We also have the garden cat Fluffy, who loves to come out here and hang out whenever somebody's in the garden. We have the pepper bed with some jalapeno, some cayenne peppers. This is my first year growing cayenne peppers, so I'm really excited about that. We have, I'll probably say it wrong, but the Hungarian mygar pepper, which is called the paprika pepper. Never grown that before, so we'll see how that goes. And we have some bell pepper, which have already started to produce some bell peppers, and harvested one yesterday. Then we have the mega tomato bed. I did something a little different from last year with the tomatoes. I started them. I don't have a lot of room, inside room to start seeds, and I don't have a greenhouse. So I made greenhouses out of the clear plastic Rubbermaid totes. You drill some holes on the top and the sides, and then you can put your plants in there. And so I started plants probably late March, early April. Started way too many tomato plants, so I thought I was going to have one bed of tomato plants, but really I have one bed and 2 halves of potato plants. This is the other trellis I made with some leftover wood from the house framing. And then I just used some nylon string and some landscape pins to hold that in, and then I just wrap it around the tomatoes to have for it to grow up on. Over here we have the start of the Waddle. I had seen randomly on Instagram somebody making a Waddle. I thought it looked awesome. We have tons of things that I can harvest and collect to create the Waddle. I started this before I planted, so I had a little bit more time to work on it, and hopefully I'll be able to complete it and wrap it around in front of the wildflowers in the coming months. But my vision for the Waddle was to have the Waddle and then have sunflowers peeking up over it, and so far that's been working and makes my heart happy every time I see it. And then we have this lovely contraption. This week we have been installing a watering system to the entire garden. Paul's neighbor, Rodney, was getting rid of a bunch of drip system and different irrigation things. So he loaded it up and brought it all to us. So now pretty much everything is on a timer. So all of the beds, minus the 2 flower beds up front, are on the irrigation system, as well as the sunflowers. The wildflowers are also on the timer. The only things not on the timer are the back fields, which have corn, wheat, and pumpkins. But I just have to flip a little switch and let it run for a few minutes, and they all get watered, which has been amazing than coming out here and watering for an hour and a half every day. And on the other side of our mesh archway, we have more loofah, more mini pumpkins. We also have these giant things. It is rhubarb. If you know me personally, you probably know that I'm a little bit obsessed with the UK, England, Scotland, all of that. Everything from just being over there to things they cook. And one of the big things that they use over there that we don't use over here that often is rhubarb. I can't really ever find it when I look for it to try different things from different cookbooks I have from the UK. So I randomly saw that Tractor Supply had bare root plants of rhubarb. So I bought a couple packs, got 4 bare root plants, planted them in pots to begin with because it was too early to plant them out here with our frost. And I just kept transporting them outside and back into the shed to protect them. Finally, I was able to come put them out here, and they've done really well. They're going to start dying back here soon. I think July is when their season pretty much comes to an end. They do tend to like a little bit cooler weather. You're not technically supposed to harvest for them for 2 years, but I did take a couple of stalks this year to make a strawberry rhubarb crumble. So I'm really excited for when I can harvest more of them, because it was great and it was a lot of fun to do that. And I'm really happy how well they've been doing. This table, Ryan and I built out of some leftover pallets that we have been using to hold all of our materials from the house to keep them elevated off of the ground. As Ryan and Pawpaw have been using those materials, pallets have become open and available. So we found this big one that was under some stuff. I thought it would be perfect for a table. The legs actually came from the posts of our house that had to be cut off. We had several of those, so I found 4 that were the same height and everything. Didn't have to do anything to modify them. They were just already there, pretty much perfect table height. So we just screwed the legs onto this pallet, flipped it over. Ryan did take a couple of some wood panels from another pallet to kind of give me more space and not so many gaps. And we called it a table. I also have several patches of in-ground planting back behind these pots. These pots, we have lemon balm, peppermint, sweet mint, maybe some carrots growing, and then 4 small peach trees that were given to us. Behind all that, we have our first cornfield. The 3 rows are sweet corn. In between the corn, we have some peanuts. My first year growing those. We'll see how that goes. And then we have some what's called gym corn. Kids are sometimes hard to convince to eat their vegetables, so I've been trying to find some cool ways that they think are cool and interesting. So the gym corn is almost like rainbow corn. Each kernel's a different shade, a different color. The kids thought it was cool. They've been more receptive to eating some of the vegetables when they come out of the garden, being as they're helping in the garden to plant them, pick them, see how they're grown. So they're excited about that. They're really excited about the rainbow corn. Just planted some pumpkins over here. Hopefully they'll take off and be ready come the fall. We have a small area of trial wheat. I'm hoping to figure that out a little bit better. I think I probably should have added a bit more nutrients and things to the soil, but this was just a trial run to see for hopefully in the future producing some more wheat. And in the very back we have popcorn, so that's my small cornfield that will hopefully be producing corn that is able to pop. So the kids are also really excited about that, and hope we get a harvest from there as well. So that is our garden tour for now at 3 Arrows Farm and Family. If you're interested in gardening, the best advice I can give you is to just get out there and do it. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You can source things from what you have. Mention that you want to get into gardening to family and friends. A lot of the stuff we have was given to us once they found out that this is something that I wanted to do. You can look at Dollar Tree, clearance, auctions, Facebook Marketplace, anything like that to get started. You don't have to put a ton of money into it to begin with to do it. Research, grow what you eat, and just get out there and do it. And as always, follow along, like, follow, share our content, and come back and enjoy our crazy with us.